Hello and welcome to Spectrum News at 2. I am Raymond Ita, coming to you live from the beautiful hills of Ibiakuran. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Buhari says attempts to jeopardize national security has failed. Immigration dismisses 4 personnel, demotes 14 over corruption. Plus, classified documents from Biden's administration gets discovered. We will bring you details of these stories and more in a moment. Many thanks indeed for joining us. We begin our news this afternoon with Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari, who has said the deliberate attempt to destroy Nigeria by state enemy has failed, noting that the country has bounced back from its troubled days. Expressing delight at the return of normalcy in Yobe State and northeast Nigeria, the president thanked Governor Maybuni of Yobe and his Borno State counterpart, Professor Babagana Zulum, for their persistence in restructuring schools, health centers, as well as institutions that have been destroyed by the misguided terrorists. This was contained in a statement signed by the President's Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina. The President thanked members of the armed forces and the police for their. Meantime, the federal government has constructed an earth dam and provided input to farmers in Bauchi State in a bid to curb clashes among farmers and herders in the area. It also embarked on a land clearing activity to boost agricultural production in the state and its surrounding environs. Executive Secretary, National Agricultural Land Development Authority, Paul Ikone, said this in a statement issued in Abuja, noting that a dam and inputs were provided to farmers in Azare local government area of Bauchi State. He said the dam would cater for the water needs of over 10,000 animals and serve as irrigation facility for more than 3 villages in the area, as NADA would provide solar power pumping machines to pump water for neighboring farms. On electoral matters, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has warned that Nigeria's presidential election, scheduled for late February, could be cancelled or postponed if the current level of insecurity persists in the country. Abdullahi Zuru, one of the heads of INEC, in a meeting in Abuja, said if insecurity is not monitored and reduced, it could lead to the cancellation or postponement of the elections in several constituencies to prevent the announcement of the result. He said such a scenario could cause a constitutional crisis, hence the need to avoid it at all costs. He therefore stressed that all security forces. In another development, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timipre Silva, has said the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited is selling premium motor spirits, otherwise known as petrol, at a loss because of its mandates from the federal government as regards PMS subsidy, with Silva's remarks coming as oil marketers said the supply hitches in the downstream oil sector that often leads to fuel scarcity might persist till June, based on the government's plan to end petrol subsidy that month. Petroleum Minister, while speaking in Abuja at the resumption of the scorecard series 2015 to 2023 of the President Muhammadu Buhari administration, insisted that subsidy had been a burden, but stressed that it was a mandate on the NNPC, which had made the oil firm to continue selling PMS at a loss. Recall that the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, had said the federal government had budgeted about 3.6 trillion naira for fuel subsidy till June 2023. Nigeria Customs said it impounded contraband goods with duty paid value worth 13.9 billion naira in 2022. This came as the units recovered about 878.3 million naira from goods cleared at the seaports and border stations with underpayment of accruable duty. Speaking at a press briefing in Lagos, Customs Area Controller of the unit, Hussein Ejibunu, disclosed that the unit arrested 176 suspects during the year, alongside 7 convicts who were charged to court at various stages of investigation and prosecution for illicit drugs.
We made 93,102 bags of 50 kg, which amounts to about 156 trailer loads of rice. Even our newly constructed warehouse had an overflow of seized rice. A total number of 108 automobiles comprising trucks, tankers, cars, and motorcycles were seized, either as smuggled items or means of conveyance of smuggled items. Illicit drugs seized within the year under review are 2,354 kg and 4,976 tablets of cannabis sativa, 233 cartons by 225 milligram and 82 packs by 225 milligrams of tramadol. It is pertinent to remind us that these hard drugs fuel crime and insecurity. For petroleum products, the unit seized 656,414 liters of PMS. That is about 20 tanker loads of fuel. This sativa, you can see the way it's been.
Immigration Service (NIS) has dismissed 4 personnel while demoting 14 others over corruption charges. NIS spokesperson Tony Akuneme disclosed this in a statement in Abuja. He said the disciplinary engagements were part of the efforts of the service in fighting against corruption, adding that the one was compulsorily retired. According to the committee, 11 personnel are still awaiting trial. He also urged members of the public to be vigilant while supporting the NIS in delivering more on its mandate. In education, the Association of Tutorial Schools, ATS, has said that the 2023 Unified of Computer-Based Centers across the country by the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAM. JAM Registrar Professor Ishaq Oloyede announced the reduction when he met with commissioners for education across the country in Ikeja, Lagos. It was gathered that JAM reduced the centers for reasons among others. Away from that, the Ondo state government has reiterated intentions to spend 3.2 billion naira on security this year. The State Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget, Emmanuel Igbashan, while presenting the 2023 Budget and Agency, also known as Amotekun. Recall that the governor of the state, Rotimi Akeredolu, presented a total budget proposal of 272.73 billion naira to the State House of Assembly on December 5, 2022, which was signed into law. The commissioner said the budget has been allocated for the procurement of security vehicles, provision of security hardware and equipment, including the purchase of 10 motorcycles for bailiff and security personnel. Now back here, residents of Uyo, the Akwa Ibom state capital, have lamented the deadline set by the level of circulation. They said the redesigned Naira banknotes are not sufficiently circulated and the public do not have access to them. They also complained of the fiscal looks of the Naira notes, adding that it appears counterfeited.
I've used the solid enough. Like if you see the 500 Naira bill, it's like an apology compared to the old note. But the 1,000 bill is okay.
And it was announced, right, when when it was passed into law, right, that the new currency note should be issued. They are not even publicizing it, right? Because literally people still have money in their saving boxes.
I'm not seeing it. I don't have access to it, but I hear of it. So maybe they are not doing it up to. It's not enough. Yes, because if it is enough, it would have been circulated. Because I hope many people are not having access to it.
I've not really seen it. It's very scarce. You can't really get it. I'm in a public environment on transport. Some line of this very new currencies that it look very counterfeit.
If you go to the bank now and attempt to make some withdrawal, you'll be paid with the old bank notes. So if at the bank level, you are being given old bank notes, so where does the policy of having new bank notes lie? Where are we going to get the new bank note? Even when the banks, it boils down to the fact that the new bank note is not in circulation. The deadline should be extended to maybe July, June, so that all Nigerians will be given ample opportunity to get abreast of the new Naira notes and have a touch and feel of the Naira notes.
We recall that the Central Bank of Nigeria had announced January 31st, 2023 as the deadline for the old notes to be used or deposited at banks. The CBN has also ordered commercial banks not to pay customers making over-the-counter withdrawals new. In Africa, 5 suspects in Kenya who appeared in court have been accused of involvement in the death of a prominent LGBTQ campaigner. The body of Edwin Kipruto, popularly known as Edwin Chiloba, was found stuffed in a metal box on a roadside in western Kenya. The family of the victim insisted on justice. Well, according to Kenya's National Commission on Human Rights, Chiloba's death followed the unsolved murders of several other human rights advocates. Still in Africa, the Senegalese government has announced new measures to fight against road insecurity, including a ban on night bus trips and the import of second-hand tires after an accident that killed 39 people. Other measures prohibit transporting people and goods at 90 kilometers per hour. Reports say that road accidents kill not less than 700 people every year in Senegal, a West African country of more than 17 million inhabitants. Still on the foreign scene, several classified documents from President Joe Biden's time as vice president were discovered last fall in a private office. But the latest development was confirmed by Attorney General Merrick Garland, who has asked the U.S. Attorney in Chicago to investigate the matter. Biden's lawyers say they found the government material global engagement, which Biden uses as part of his relationship with the University of Pennsylvania, where he was an honorary professor, is dated from 2017 to 2019. The White House is cooperating with the National Archives and the Department of Justice regarding the discovery of what appears to be Obama-Biden administration record, including a small number of documents with classified markings. Still to come in the news. Cristiano Ronaldo to earn 200 million euros to promote Saudi's joint bid. Stay with us. Welcome back and many thanks for staying tuned. Infrastructure, Professor Mohammed Aruna has said the federal government will establish 3 industrial parks in the country. A statement said Aruna disclosed this during a courtesy call to the commandant of the Nigerian Air Force Institute of Technology in Kaduna. According to him, about 3.25 billion naira had been earmarked for the first phase of the parks, which would be sited in Nnewi, Anambra State, Oshogbo in Osun State, and Igabi in Kaduna. Aruna said that the Center of Naseni Helicopter Project of Assembly and the first made in Nigeria helicopter plan to develop industrial parks for the automotive sectors in 3 zones of the country, which are in Anambra, Osun, and Kaduna states. Once fully taken up and equipped, the automotive park would be self-sustaining and a government revenue source. Meanwhile, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, says it will be monitoring commercial banks to ensure that they comply with the directive of loading the redesigned Naira note in their automated teller machines. CBN Director, Currency Operations, Ahmed Omar, made this known at a training session held in Abuja for state directors. Omar said that the CBN's directive is meant to implement the January 31st deadline withdrawal of old Naira notes in circulation, stressing that another reason for the Naira redesign is that 500 Naira and 1,000 Naira notes constitute 99% of the currency notes that are being targeted for counterfeiting. The Apex Bank director affirmed that collaborations are currently being made with partners to enlighten Nigerians on the purpose of the new bank plan over the rising cases of Lassa fever, as it has reported 18 new cases. Obey said the government has stepped up surveillance, sensitization, and other measures to stop the spread of the disease, as well as protect residents across all Edo communities. Still in health, the federal government has said it is maintaining vigilance on a high level of preparedness as the nation's entry point to prevent a fresh outbreak and other developments in the health sector. The Minister of Health, Dr. Osagie Hanire, said the ministry has met with the World Health Organization and the Embassy of China to review the resurgence of COVID-19 in China. It said the committee is ready to oversee national response to prevent importation of coronavirus. In sports now, 37-year-old Portuguese football superstar Cristiano Ronaldo will be earning £200 million to promote Saudi Arabia's joint 2030 World Cup bid. The oil-rich kingdom, along with Egypt and Greece, is bidding to host the World Football's 2030 Showpiece tournament, and Ronaldo's ambassadorial role will bring his reported earnings in the country to over £400 million. The arrival of the former Manchester United, Real Madrid, and Juventus also won the Champions League 5 times, where the tournament's goal-scoring record is expected to make its Al Nassr debut on January 22nd. Still in sports, Roberto Martinez has been named the new coach of Portugal, having stepped down as Belgium coach after the elimination from the World Cup in Qatar in the group stage. Martinez stepped down as Belgium coach following their World Cup group stage exit, saying he had made the decision to end its 6-year tenure some time ago and would have left even if they had been crowned world champions. The 49-year-old Spaniard takes over from Fernando Santos, and the most pressing issue in his entry will be to clarify the situation of skipper Cristiano Ronaldo, who was just signed for Saudi club Al Nassr. On our entertainment news, Spotify's Equal Africa program E has kicked off this year by shining its spotlight on the multi-talented Nigerian artist Yemi Alade, a leading female Afropop artist in Africa who has been the latest to join the list of accomplished artists featured on the Equal Africa playlist. The Spotify Equal Africa program seeks to provide female artists with the support and resources to grow their crafts while reaching worldwide audiences through multiple playlists. The singer with a smash hit single, Johnny, which is now the most viewed video from an African female pop star ever. Still on entertainment, Nigerian filmmaker and founder of the African Movie Academy Awards, AMAA, Prince Ayam Osigwe, has died. A colleague, Obi Emelonye, confirmed her death via his Instagram account with a shared picture saying, "Thank you and good night, Dada, peace." Well, according to reports, she died in a hospital in Lagos State. Osigwe, who was also president of the Association of Movie Producers, was in a coma before she took her last breath. Follow us on all our social media platforms and do also subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtv.ng. It's been the news at 2. Thank you so much for watching. I am Raymond Eta. Good afternoon.